Hi guys, I'm Clara and today I'm way too excited because I got my hands on this Tom Ford product. Like most of their products, it does come in this kind of white protective sleeve, and then you take the sleeve off and it has this really kind of classic white glossy packaging with the gold design on it, and the gold design does continue all around this palette. This is the Tom Ford Winter Soleil Palette, in case you haven't guessed already, and I did pick it up in warm. It has this nice magnetic closure, so you just open it and it opens from the left side instead of the right, which somehow seems a little bit reversed to me. I feel like usually palettes open from the right, and inside it has this giant mirror, which is really nice. And as you can tell, all the colors in here, again, this is the warm palette, are kind of like a more summery theme. I believe I heard when he released this collection that he wanted us to feel like even though it's winter, you can be like vacationing all year round, it can always be summer, something like that. They're definitely really nice colors. These are all neutral colors, which you probably have most of these in your collection already, but I picked it up anyway because the quality of these is definitely superior to the quality of any of the other neutrals I have. I have used it already once and I didn't get any fallout. I was really surprised. Even with this glitter shade, I'm not 100% in love with all the shades in this collection, and I will talk to you about that in just a second, but overall I think that they chose really good colors. This blush is just absolutely beautiful. It's a kind of peachy coral, and this highlight is kind of almost creamy in texture, and it's a kind of very bright, almost like rosy gold highlight. After I had ordered this already, I was watching Toddy do her review on this, and she really didn't like the blush. She found that it didn't really stay on her cheeks very well throughout the day. But somehow I didn't have the same problem. This actually gave me quite a bit of pigment, and it lasted like all through the whole day. This whole set here, I did use the eyeshadows over an eyeshadow primer, my Too Faced Shadow Insurance, but I always do that, so I figured I would give them just as fair a shot as any of my other eyeshadows. And everything looked exactly the same when I applied it as it did at the end of the day, which I thought was really nice. Again, I didn't get a lot of fading from the blush. My favorite shades in this quad, and I will be doing some swatches and a demo for you guys, are these two right here. These two are the shimmer shades. This one obviously is a kind of light golden color, and then this one is a sort of taupey brown color that is just a little bit deeper. This shade down here is also a shimmer shade. It's a really beautiful kind of dark cocoa brown with a little bit more like lighter reddish brown shine in it. And this one is a very like brassy taupe kind of glitter shade. I did choose the warm palette in part because it only had one glitter shade in it, and the cool palette has actually two glitter shades. Overall, I'm not the biggest fan of glitter shades, and I felt like when I was applying these colors, these two in this column applied really well and were just absolutely beautiful. This shade also is really beautiful, but I just felt like somehow it didn't apply with as much pigment as I would have liked it to. It did blend out really nicely, but it was just a little bit harder for some reason to get the pigment to show up really dark on this one. And the glitter shade, when I was kind of swiping my finger in it and patting it on my lid, my finger got coated in a very beautiful kind of shiny metallic taupe color, but the only thing that was really coming off on my lid was just the glitter itself, which was very beautiful. It added a lot to the look in terms of multidimensionality, and I didn't get any fallout from any of these. But I just wish that this would be a little bit easier to transfer onto the lid, because I feel like this by itself would make also a very beautiful lid color. So those are really my only kind of complaints about the palette. Overall, I'm very happy with these eyeshadows. I do find that the quality is really impressive. These are definitely the longest wearing eyeshadows that I have in my collection, and they also have zero fallout, which is really important. If you're somebody who likes to wear eyeshadow all the time, then definitely like having a really good quality neutrals palette I feel is important. And this is one that you can just use every day in the morning with no hassle. You don't have to worry about like cleaning up the rest of your makeup when the glitter starts to fall out or anything. And definitely you can kind of transition from day to night with these shades over here. And that's about all I have to say about this palette. I did also pick up the Tom Ford Soleil lip foils. I went a little bit overboard and I picked up 4 shades. I was only going to pick up 2, but then they were so beautiful that I picked up a couple more, so I'm also going to demo those shades today when I do my little eyeshadow demo for you guys. So stick around for that. Let's just jump right into the demo and swatches. I'm going to be using my Bobbi Brown blush brush. I picked this up from Nordstrom when it was on sale because this was actually one of the highest rated blush brushes. People were saying that it picked up the right amount of product, they didn't have problems with shedding or anything, and it blended really easily. This isn't a shape that I normally use for my blush brushes though, so it's taking me just a little while to adjust to it, but overall it's very nice. Let's go ahead and start with the blush. And if you're using this blush brush, you have to be really careful to tap very lightly into whatever product you're using, or else it's going to pick up a whole lot. Something that I just want to mention also about this palette is that it does have a little bit of a funny smell to it. It smells ever so slightly like burning rubber, and I'm not really sure why. It doesn't smell like an eyeshadow palette that has gone bad, but it's definitely, I feel like I've gotten used to getting eyeshadow palettes that are like vanilla scented or chocolate scented or something like that, and just it smells a little bit strange. As you can see, this blush is a very beautiful bright color. It looks very healthy on the cheeks, and it does have kind of a slight sheen to it as well. And I'm just going to be taking a small teardrop brush to apply the highlighter with. You can see that sheen is really nice. Maybe that's part of the reason why I feel like this highlighter isn't doing so much for me. Obviously you can see it, but just since the blush is already very shiny, let's just, for us oily skin girls, alright, so you can see there's quite a bit of shine on there. It's very nice, kind of rosy golden color. It definitely looks very sun-kissed, and you can see the whole idea of this collection is just to have a really like healthy, glowing look. Okay, so I already have my Too Faced Shadow Insurance primer on. So I'm going to start with this golden shade on a MAC 217 brush, and I'm just going to kind of put it all over the lid. And I'm going to blend it up into my crease. I'm really impressed that even though these are all shimmer shades, you can apply them really well with a brush. They do stick to the brush, and then they also stick to your eye when you go to apply it. And the color shows up really true to pan. You don't have to work too hard to build up the pigment on these. And again, there's no fallout, which is really nice. And you can see that's just a really nice bright golden wash of color and a little bit of a sheen to it as well. And even though these products are very shiny, I don't feel like they would look bad on you if you are a little bit older. It's not like too in your face kind of shine. It's very sophisticated and it just looks like your eyes are like really hydrated and healthy. The shine kind of helps brighten them up a little bit. And I'm going to go in with this Luxie blending brush to apply the slightly darker taupe shimmer shade. And I'm just going to apply this on the outside of my eye. I love this shade so much. It adds so much like rich, warm pigment. It's really easy to work with, and again, it's kind of shimmery, but it's not like in your face. I feel like it's gives me a lot of control. It's not one of those shades that like blends out all over your eye. It reminds me kind of sunset colors at this point, even though this shade is kind of a taupey brown. It does have quite a bit of like a orange undertone to it. And with just those two colors together, it has a very beautiful kind of antique gold, kind of brassy sheen to it. It's very nice. And again, there's no fallout at all with these, which I'm really pleased with. I do think this kind of taupey brown shimmer shade is my favorite one in the palette. It's just so multi-dimensional and rich in color when you put it on, even though it looks just so plain and brown. It's very warm and it looks kind of like brown in one light and a little orange in another light. It's really beautiful. And I think that if you're just kind of going out for the day, going to work, something like that, you can get away with wearing just these two colors. It's going to look like a completed look, but it's going to be kind of like nice and simple and light, and then you can add the other two darker colors when you want to kind of go out at the end of the day pretty easily. I'm just going to take this really tiny Luxie blending brush and I'm going to apply the darker shimmer shade, which is kind of that cocoa brown shade. This is the one that swatches really beautifully, but somehow I'm just not as in love with it. I don't really like colors that are too dark on my eye, so maybe that's just my my issue there, but it definitely blends out really nice. So I've just darkened up the outer corners a little bit. I'm not going to go too crazy with this because I feel like the other colors are just so beautiful that I sort of hate to put anything on top of them. Alright, and lastly I'm just going to apply the glitter shade with a finger. And you can see that that's a really nice, beautiful, shiny taupe shade. And that glitter shade just gives the most beautiful sparkle. It feels kind of like this mysterious glam. It's not like too in-your-face glitter, but it just kind of reminds me of how diamonds sparkle and like hit the light. That's sort of the way this acts with the light when it hits it. Again, I do wish that more of the actual color came off onto the eye, but the sparkle that it gives is very nice. So let's just jump into a few swatches now. And there you have it. I hope that you have enjoyed this look and my review of this palette. If you have, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you would like to see some more of my other videos. I do have a couple of other Tom Ford videos if you'd like to check those out. I definitely highly recommend all of these products if you want to spend the money on them because they are a little bit pricey. If you are just looking for kind of one great neutrals palette that you want in your collection and you feel like that's all you need, you're not really going to add too much more to your collection, then I would say this is definitely worth spending the money on. If you want to use your money to kind of explore and play and buy a lot of different kinds of makeup, then maybe you want to save the money on this one. But definitely all of the products I really have enjoyed in this palette. I'm so pleased with the face products and the eyeshadow. It just gives such a beautiful look and I feel like it's something I wouldn't get tired of wearing even if I wore it every day. So that's it for this video. Have a great day, you guys. Bye!